Hello and welcome to TechyChats, the space to listen and learn from our inspiring guests in tech. From their journey into tech to what their role is about, the digital industry is ever growing and ever changing. I am Rachel, and today I am joined by Rupy Uppal. And Rupy is a Scrum Master at Sky. So Rupy, your journey started off studying coding and then going into recruitment and then becoming a Scrum Master. So all the roles and some more, but all the roles that you've been on your journey have been quite different, but still within tech. Will you tell us a bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Hiya, by the way. So I started doing computer programming when I was at uni, which was a fair few years ago. I won't say exactly how many. And then I landed a job in recruitment. Now, I'm not a salesperson, but I was still interested in tech. So I wanted to recruit. So I did IT contract recruiting for a good 10 years, I think it was. And I saw all sorts of roles, whether it's your programmers, your project managers, and various other roles. But for me, it wasn't really what I wanted. I didn't want any of those roles. And I think it was when this role came along, it was a perfect fit. So I started at Sky as a recruitment consultant, looking for Scrum Masters, project managers, and various other IT roles that we recruit at Leeds Dark. And it was one of the principal engineers in News and Sports that said, well, why don't you do Scrum Master? And I was like, could I not? And I was questioning myself, like, can I do this? I am recruiting for the role. What is it about? But a lot of the recruitment experience was transferable. And that's how I ended up joining the My Sky app team, which is a great team, very technical. So when I went, you always hear Scrum Masters don't need to be technical. So I joined the team, and the first few days I was like, oh my God, have I made the right decision? Because there was tech everywhere and there's so many different platforms. But after a couple of months, you start working with the people, you realize actually it's all about people, how you come across, how you chat to them, the knowledge they share, and you pick up all the tech side. So for people that normally get worried or get a bit scared thinking, oh, I can't do tech, you can do. I've done it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. That's what I say.
Oh, that's fab. So what do you like? What is your role? What does your role entail? What is your day to day? So you said it's about the people and not so much the tech, like technical.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, to be fair. You need to understand the technology to be able to do the role. As a Scrum Master, we were known as servant leaders, so to speak. So we do a lot of facilitating different events, trying to get the teams stay on the roadmap that we're working towards. If they've got any blockers, any issues, how to help them overcome those. Try and get them to be self-empowered with whether it's innovating, whether it's coming with new ideas, whether it's something that they're facing but they don't know how to come across that hurdle. How do they actually solve that issue? Rather than going there saying, oh, I'll fix it for you, we try and encourage them to say, well, how would you do it? Different scenarios. So the teams kind of become self-sufficient. And I think once your team's self-sufficient and they no longer need you, you're a good Scrum Master. So really our job is to talk or work ourselves out of a job, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it sounds a bit like you're a mentor, a coach, and like a guardian angel.
So it's a bit of everything. It is it's how we keep the tech on track and kind of emphasize the agile way of working, the Scrum way of working, but at the same time the heart is at the your squad members' well-being. Business is business. Yes, we want to thrive with tech. We need to look after their mental health as well. So it is a bit of an all-rounder, which is why I like the role.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect kind of next step, or like on your journey from what you were, recruiting, and it's having that like in-depth kind of one-to-one, not one-to-one, but like personal experience with your team. And I think that's inspiring.
And the best thing is there's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's how you are as an individual. Like I said, when I did recruitment, I wasn't there, I wasn't a salesperson, but my strength was about building relationships. So I still have clients to this day that said, well, if you know anyone, can you recommend them? But I'm not in recruitment, so I'm away from that game at the moment. but I always went on gut feeling. And I think once you can do that, you know you're doing all right in your role because you've done it for a while. At first, I used to be really nervous when I started doing the Scrum role because I didn't have any experience. I took a leap of faith from something that I knew doing for 10 years, going into tech, where there are quite a few youngsters and they know the tech and they're all whiz kids, and you're like, oh, can I actually do this? But once you kind of work with them and you understand it and you give yourself that time and space to learn, it's an amazing job. I wouldn't go back. I mean, I'd still help people at the moment, if they need help with CV or clients saying, oh, do you know so-and-so, or what do you think we'll do? I still have clients coming to me now. But with that, I do say to them, I can give you this, but another agency, this is maybe what you can go to, or they'll be able to help you, because I'm not in that domain at the moment. But Scrum Master is definitely the way forward.
Did you experience imposter syndrome when you first started, and do you experience that now, or do you not?
Yeah, no, I've had ups and downs, I won't lie. When I first joined, because Scrum Master doesn't have to be technical, and I was told that the roles and the skills I had, I could actually quite easily fall into a Scrum Master role, and they're quite transferable. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And I was confident. After a couple of months, I was like, this isn't sinking in. The technologies are changing and there's a lot of nitty gritty that you need to understand. And I started doubting myself, like, could I not? And I had a good 10 months where I really struggled. But people that know me probably know that if there's something that I'm struggling with, I don't like giving up. I don't like to be told that I can't do something. So I kept at it, and I had a great mentor. So I've got a great mentor now. He helps a lot with, sometimes you're facing certain issues and you don't know how to overcome them. And he's good at not telling you what to do, but getting you to think of that situation, which is perfect, which is why I need him there. But when I started the journey, I shadowed our head of tech. She wasn't head of tech at the time, but she was really, really helpful. And she's like, well, just carry on. Everyone starts. And it was all about empowering women and saying, no, you can do it. You just need to give yourself a chance. Don't stress out. And even to this day, she's great. And it's having someone like that support you is amazing. And that's what makes it easier, just saying, well, actually, I can do this and I'm not going to give up.
That's some fantastic advice about having like your cheerleaders around. What's your favorite part of your role, would you say?
Facing challenges. So you can imagine when we're in tech, everyone's got different viewpoints. Everyone's got different ideas, and people do clash in a good way and have arguments. And I think you need those in order for the technology to thrive, because otherwise you'll just go with the first idea, which isn't always great. So having those discussions and facilitating those, getting involved in those and see how people think and how they came to that conclusion, that's the sort of stuff that kind of gets me thinking, the psychology behind it and how people work and how you can get more out of them just by understanding their thought process. Because sometimes, don't get me wrong, I've thought, actually, this is the way we do it, and I want to go down this route. It's only until you see it from the other side, you're like, hang on a sec, they've got a point. And it's getting involved in those discussions and helping them solve those issues is where I think I get my kick from. I'm thinking, actually, we've done a good job there. We've got the right thing and we've got where we wanted to be.
What would you say your biggest challenges would be then for role?
For this particular role, for me as a person, I think I get involved too much. So if people do, say, for example, if someone takes something to heart, someone's not happy, or I can see that actually the dimensions of the squad or the team are not quite there and someone might feel like they've not heard, I take those sort of things to heart. I can get sentimental quite quickly, like, oh, no, this is our baby. We need to protect it. We need to do this. And it's that sometimes I think can be a weakness where I need to step back and say, hang on, you guys are providing the solution. I don't need to start mothering everyone, and I just take a step back and saying, you can deal with this, leave you to it. So I think that's my biggest weakness. I worry about everything far too much.
I think also that you can completely flip that on its head and be like, you're very passionate about what you do.
Yeah, I don't know whether everyone would agree with that, but yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
What would your advice be for people who would want to work in your role? Where do you think they should start? What should they study? Who should they talk to?
At the moment, because we're in lockdown as well, there's loads of events happening. They're happening all over the shop. So you can go online. Scrum.org is a great place to start. That's where I did my qualifications. So do your PSM1, understand what Agile is about, what Scrum is about. There's one thing you need to remember is textbook is textbook. We can learn it, we can do the qualifications, but the real experience comes from actually doing the role and listening to people that are doing the role. So as many events that you can attend will be a great way, just the way people facilitate, the different challenges people have. And also I've set up on LinkedIn, there's a Scrum Master UK group. So if anyone is interested and they're qualified for in those qualifications, just join that group. I'll let you in.
Awesome. So Scrum Master UK, is that right?
Yes.
That's excellent. One question now. If you had infinite resources, what is the biggest problem that you would solve?
I think for me, it would be taking down the invisible barriers in workplaces. So we talk a lot about, and I know there's a big craze going on at the moment. Some people might say right or wrong. This is just my viewpoint. So there's a big craze about women in tech, about different communities, giving everyone the right voice, whether you're Asian, ethnic minorities, and so on. And we do recruit people from all different backgrounds. We try and understand them. We take more women in, but they are still invisible barriers in the workplace. So we hire women, but have they got all the tools to do the job? Have they been hired as a tick box exercise, or can they genuinely do that job? And I don't mean genuinely in the sense of they don't have the ability to do it, but do we have that flexibility? Because we know a lot of women look after childcare. We know the working patterns are different. We know actually when it comes to promotion, do we say, well, actually, she's looking after her kids, she's doing that. Will she be able to do that the same as a male, say, for example? Or maybe another woman, and you're getting compared because another one might be, I don't know, might not have a family, might not have those dependency, they're more likely to give you the more hours. So I think even though we've made massive steps towards having the culture reflect of what the society is at the moment, there's still a lot of invisible barriers that we, not intentionally, subconsciously, we do still have them in our minds. And it's how do you take those down? It's a bit of a strong point, not like a fairy tale where you can say, oh, get rid of everything. But it's something that I think as businesses, we need to talk more and more about.
Completely.
So that would be mine.
Completely agree with that. There's still a lot of unconscious bias in workplaces. That it's almost like a trend that the tick box exercises. That we need to hire more women, we need to be more diverse, and it's like you've got to step back and be like, well, why? What problem are you solving? If you're just hiring people, why are you hiring them? You need to support them. You need to create a proper reason instead of just like, no, suddenly everyone's hiring.
Yeah, and I think we've done the right step where we actually acknowledge that we need to hire from different backgrounds and genders and so on. But at the same time, have we changed the workplace environment that we work into to reflect that? I don't think we're quite there yet. We're making good ways. I mean, Sky have got loads of great things going on with all the diversity and how they're supporting the Black Lives Matters and various other things that are happening. And there's a lot of inclusion workshops, and we do a lot, and which is great to see. I've recruited for so many different companies in the past, and I've had brilliant clients, but what Sky have done now, they are really paving the way forward. And it's great to be part of that, to say actually working for a company that is taking this seriously and I'm hoping more and more companies will do that.
I definitely think Sky are absolutely paving the way. I think, I mean, one of the things that they're doing is the Tech Returners program.
Yeah.
Will you tell us a bit more about that? Because like that's just one of the many things that they're doing.
Yeah, we do a graduate scheme as well for people that have just graduated. We're also doing Tech Returners if you've been out of work for a while and you want to get back into work, trying to give you the knowledge and the skills for that. I'm not close to it, so I wouldn't want to give any details and then for them not to be correct.
That's fair enough.
But we definitely do have a program running and it is for like mums or people that have been out of work, and we know what the market's like at the moment. A lot of people have lost, they might want to retrain. So where we can help, we would definitely do try to.
That's awesome. If anyone wants to get in touch with you and learn more about you and learn more about what you do, where can we find you?
LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn. Yeah. So just ping me a message and I'm more than happy to help you any way I can.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to get into the Scrum Master Ball, check out Scrum Masters UK on LinkedIn. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, Scrum Master UK on LinkedIn. That's a group. Yep. And if you need more information on Scrum, it's scrum.org is what I use.
Thank you so much for being part of the vlog series. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you on here. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.